My guest for today is known as the King of Waves. He is a Matrix ambassador, salon owner, and the creator of Mustafa Avci Pro Tools. My guest for today is Mustafa Avci. How are you today?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm home, still home, but everything's been great. Get to spend some family time. How has it been for you?
The same thing, spending family time, but most likely online mainly. But
Yeah,
other than that, staying quarantine home.
yeah. So, Mustafa, where are you from originally?
I'm Turkish.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how long have you been here?
since 95.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
A little over 25 years.
Okay. Do you have a lot of family that live here as well?
Yeah, I have my family and my couple of my uncles and their family, cousins, and yeah, their kids.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, what did your mom and dad do for a living when you were growing up?
My parents has nothing, or I can say no one in my whole entire family history has anything to do with beauty industry.
Wow.
They involved in ice cream, they involved in the restaurant, they involved in mechanics, but none of them. I'm the only person and I'm the first one, so I try to
Wow.
open the door for others, but they weren't kind of very well into it. But now, because of social media, some of the young generation, they look at it differently and they have much more interest in it. Yeah.
So, what did they think? Like when you told them that I wanted to do hair, what was the reaction?
Well, they knew uh, that I had a lot of passion for art, for drawing, sketching. A lot of in school, I used to sketch around every day on like random papers I can find. So they knew that I had so much passion for art. So they kind of were totally leave the decision to me when it comes to that point in my life when I decided to move on to work in a hair salon full time. So they knew that I did drawing that good. They assumed I would do the hair so good also, which worked out perfectly fine. I'm happy.
Wow. Well, that's great to hear. A lot of hairstylists, their parents, they're not usually on board. So that's excellent that they were behind you and they pushed you forward. That's great. So what types of things inspire your work?
A lot of stuff. It's everything, but I can't just go out and look at the trees and look at the sun and just say I'm inspired by it. No, it could be maybe a design of some article in the magazine or some shape of maybe a cup or never know. It could be anything until it just has click in your head and you say to yourself, I'm gonna try this. But I'm gonna try it in a way. I'm gonna manipulate this like a doll, like move it into different shapes. When I see something, I like to screenshot. It could be architecture or anything. I can screenshot it, and then you know what? Sometimes I go back into screenshot. I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what was here? What was the message for me? And I forget. But now I just draw on it with my hands, like draw on the picture, so I know exactly next time when I look at that picture again to know what to do exactly. What was the vision? It's all about, I think, the vision, what you see, what
Yeah.
your creativity can see, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's such a great question. I love asking that question because everybody gets it from somewhere else. You're right. Some people get it from the trees, the leaves, the water, different things like that. And you're saying you can really just get it from anywhere. It's anything that speaks to you and speaks to your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was your first love when you started doing hair? What really connected with you?
smell of the salon
Wow.
environment. I really liked it a lot. And I remember the hairsprays and the smell of whole entire salon atmosphere products. I liked it a lot. And I'm very obsessed with those kind of stuff. Because growing up in my childhood time, I've never mentioned this anywhere. Going to school back and forth, passing by little stores, I used to you know, all good smell comes to your nose and you remember that smell and it stays with you. And so smelling of the salon, because I joined hair salon at very young age. I started when I was 12 years old,
Wow.
not like 20, 30, or, I started very, very young age. And so a lot of things from the childhood moved on to teenage to more like an adult. I took that path and I experienced that path in a different kind of age. So to me, smelling of the hairspray, I always I stopped buying to my salon the other day to pick up some of the tools that I needed in the house to do a live. Coming back in, like that smell kind of made me realize once more how much I missed hair salon. So it's kind of in me, I can say this or that because I can't at that point. I just start. I wouldn't know. Oh, haircut or blowout or whatever. But the smell really got me to get excited and to keep going back and forth a lot and to realize, there's a love for me there and there's passion there also.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, being a hairstylist myself, I guess I never thought of that, but you're right. The smell connects with you in a certain way and you're not really sure why. And I guess I just never thought that that doesn't happen to everybody. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. You enlightened
It's
me.
very similar, almost every salon, but in a way, it's slightly different in every salon also.
Yeah.
You walked into a salon or a spa area, but then it's slightly different taste in every different salon.
Yes, you're exactly right about that. So, my next question is, how long did it take before you actually started to feel successful?
Good question. The reason I say good question, because I wasn't born in a hair world when Instagram came out. I already owned the salon. I already had my salon for many years. I was at a very young age and having a responsibility over my shoulders a lot. And plus, always pushing my limits, trying to, before social media, before anything, trying to get my name, before even working with any brand, before getting involved with any brand. I was just trying to do this myself alone in my shop. But then a lot of you don't get anything back in return, basically. It was
Yeah.
very hard. You had to somehow connect with a magazine, connect with, photo shoot vibe, or have to be with a brand. Me, I was just a salon owner. I was running business and I was working behind chair for many, many years. But it wasn't anything what I want, basically. What I wanted so much, basically, it happened when Instagram came out. People started seeing my post. When someone had 1,000 followers, it was the happiest time of everybody's life.
Right.
And when someone had like 20 likes that day, it was like the happiest day. I really tasted those days and I became known from those days. And so when you look back from, it wasn't created like a month before that. It was created many, many years before that. So a lot of design, that a lot of creativity that I'm sharing with other hairdressers, and they're getting inspired. They're tagging me in their work, and they want to learn more like a vintage or structural looks. They get inspired by my work. Totally fine. I'm really grateful for that. But a lot of that came from hard work before even believing something like Instagram will ever come out.
Yeah.
Why? Because I just wanted to, inside my world, there was another world that I wanted to come out and do things besides just having the responsibility of the salon and running around. I was doing photo shoots, I was collaborating, I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was just testing different things. But then the different magazines saw my work once because of the Instagram, and through there, like, it's funny how this question reflects to my teaching. I had no knowledge whatsoever in teaching, but I didn't know I had a lot of knowledge, but I had no knowledge. Meaning, anytime I do something, anytime I create a style like the consultation, I like to talk to my clients. I like to explain to them, make sure they know, they're aware. Even I tell them, like, this style cannot be when you walk into a wedding hall, run around and hug and kiss everybody. You need to have like the pride for this look, because this is a classic look. You need to act certain way, this way. I truly tell my client, believe it or not, I always say, like, take your time, don't run around, don't party, don't go crazy. Make sure everybody sees you. You do your walk or whatever.
Wow.
And then you kind of can go wild, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because it's just that if Instagram was like a mirror to reflect my work, what I had built myself, only myself, for many years before.
Yeah.
And it just allowed me, pushed me, motivated me to do add on more day by day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was, you're enlightening me so much today, because I never really thought about that, but that's true. I mean, the consultation, and when you're talking to your clients, it does become more than that. It's almost a vibe or an entire atmosphere that you're creating when you do somebody's hair. If they're a bride, you know, they have a certain look and a way they carry themselves. And so you're absolutely right about that.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question about success is, what is success to you?
Success is simple answer: achieving your goals.
Yeah.
Meaning, you want something, perfect, go for it. You want to become very good in your area, I'll mention it locally. You want to be very good in your area. A lot of the stuff that I teach is more salon friendly. Or you want to be more competition, take classes from someone that teaches much more competition work. You want to be the best hair cutter, take education. Like, you have to be in that circle. You have to be in that vibe in order to feel it. You would know yourself where you are. No one will know that. You would know. Us, like, as a teachers, educators that teach, they'll see from your hand where you are, and you'll see yourself where you are. And
Yeah.
by joining together will help you to, it's like a personal trainer, basically.
Yeah.
Will train you for a couple of months, and then you feel much better. You feel much more live. And then you say, okay, whoa, where was I a couple of months ago? Like, I feel so much more stronger right now. Like, then you start to build different visions in your head, different goals where you want to achieve. So it's basically, you know, you got to balance it out.
Yeah. So you and I were talking a little bit before the podcast, and you told me that you're in New York State and that you guys are not yet back to work in the salons or anything like that. But you did actually get the coronavirus. Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about that?
I did get the coronavirus, yes. And luckily, everything is over. Thank God for me. I'm staying quarantined home. And I didn't really believe that it will be this strong, affect the whole world like this until it comes to America. I was
Yeah,
like, it's like another world, It's like something happened a war happened in another world, and we hear about it, but we don't really, really, really feel it. We just
yeah,
hear, we get sad for a moment, and then next news comes out, we forget about it. It wasn't
exactly.
like this time. It wasn't like next something is gonna come out, and it just stayed there and affected everybody else also. I'm one of them. So I was home 10 days. I got really worse day by day. 10th day, I went to ER with a very, very, very high, fever. I couldn't breathe. Like, I don't even want to remember that first exact day. But then second day, third day, fourth day later, I became better and better every day. But my level of oxygen going into my body wasn't enough. I had to work on that. That's why I ended up staying there 8 days. And I got home after like 10 days, 2 weeks. I felt much, much better. But here and there, when I get up or when I was doing something, I was like dizzy. When I came home, I couldn't even walk to my restroom, like maybe 10 steps from living room. I couldn't even walk to it. My wife had to hold me for almost like 3, 4 days after coming back. It's a lot of stuff. You gotta be really, really, really careful with it. And just, I'm sure, I know here and there, some people maybe wouldn't care, but majority of us, hairdressers and people out there, I don't see anyone without a mask. And
Yeah,
one thing is good that everywhere it's open, they make sure that you have a mask on, you come in. So a lot of us would make sure if that next person next to you is not safe enough, and I'm working right next to that person, I would make sure myself, besides being me safe totally, I would make sure that person safe also, or there's
yeah,
gonna be a problem, basically.
yeah,
So we gotta warn each other. We gotta talk to each other much more. We gotta explain to each other. You don't want to go into there. Once you feel when you go into the hospital, that's it. It's like
yeah.
a 50-50 chance, basically. It's a
Yeah.
tough times.
I actually
It's
saw,
unlike anything else also.
yeah.
I'm telling you. Unlike any other thing.
It's really hard to imagine. I don't know of any hairdressers personally, besides you, that has had the coronavirus. And so it's so important that you're sharing this with us, and I appreciate it so much. But I did see your Instagram post a while back, I guess, when you got back from the hospital,
Mhm.
and it shook me. I mean, you really, I couldn't believe that you were home and you still couldn't breathe that much. And they were, and you're like, I'm finally home, I'm feeling better. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if he's feeling better now, how in the world did he feel before this? And so that really hit home for me.
Let me tell you, think about that. When I got home, from 1 to 10, I was like 7. And when I went to the hospital, I was -2 or 3.
Wow.
I couldn't breathe. And it was like my heart was pumping so hard, and I couldn't breathe also. So it's, like I said, and when you had the fever, high fever also, it doesn't, anything you do, you move a little, it hurts you. You take it one step, it hurts you. You can't walk. So it's a lot of stuff that, how much can you carry? You say 90 pounds. I would throw on your shoulder another 5 pounds. You'll say, okay, another 5 for a couple of seconds more. You'll hold on tight. And then I say, okay, another 10 pounds. Maybe you struggle, but you'll hold on to it. And then I throw another 20 on you.
Wow.
And you go down. Basically, the sickness comes in this way. It keeps putting on your shoulders a lot of weight, keeps coming down, fever comes in, another things kicks in, this kicks in, that kicks in. You can't taste or you can't feel, you can't smell. A lot of things that just keeps coming, and then until you just go down. But some people are strong enough. Immune system is completely stronger than others, which you don't know who has a strong and who doesn't.
Yeah.
My wife was same way also, but on the 10th day, I got worse and she got like went down her symptoms. So it was much better. So all good, you know, just gotta be careful. Put the
Yeah.
mask on.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. So, what would your advice be for hairstylists out there that are maybe not wearing their mask or taking the protection?
Well, I'm not gonna tell them to wear a mask.
Right.
The reason for that is a lot of people put the mask on their chin and then they talk, they communicate because they're not close to anyone else. And then guess what they do? When they pass around people, they put the mask on their face, which is perfectly fine. But if you pass around people and you have the mask in your mouth, don't put that mask on your chin one more time, because your chin is open. You're passing, maybe someone has the virus and you can get it from there on your chin, and you put the mask down on your chin and then you put it back in your mouth.
Right.
So we need to learn exactly how to keep the mask properly clean, how to not touch it.
Yeah.
That's what you need to know. And believe it or not, I don't have to tell anyone to wash their hands more often.
Yeah.
Or these are the things it's like everybody does right now these days.
Right.
We learn to wash our hands.
Well, I appreciate you being so open and so honest, because nobody really knows where they stand with this, or they're very opinionated. You know, it's one or the other. And so you opening up and talking to us about this is going to help a lot of people. And I think bring it full circle so it's maybe not a hoax. You know, some people think it's a hoax, it's not real, it's the government, all these things. So I think that you've really done well in explaining to us your experience with this as a hairdresser. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
My question for you now is, when everything we kind of is over with, okay? So when we get back into the salon and we get back into those things, what do you think a day in your life is going to be like?
I'm not going to work as crazy as I used to. And I'm going to be very cautious of basically which client to service. I'm very open. Maybe I'm too open, but it's for some people good. Some people, maybe they don't want to hear it this way. But at the end of the day, you care about your health first. Besides anything else, besides your job, you need to care about yourself first.
Yeah.
Like, put the mask on yourself before putting on somebody else. It's basically that. So, well, some people, it's gonna environment throughout it's gonna allow us to decide how much more percentage of clients to take in. So that's gonna kind of make the decision where we stand, if we're gonna have much more of this virus going on, if not. Because like I said, if one person has it, that's it. You can get it from one person to 30%.
Yeah.
So we have to be very cautious, but I'm sure a lot of us missed working, wanna go back, but use the time wisely also. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love
and
that.
I'm very sure, like, the clientele that is connecting with us during these times, very positive.
Yeah.
Instead of sending messages like, oh, I want to come to you first, I'm sure everyone gets those messages, but majority of the clientele, they ask about how you're feeling, they ask about your condition, they ask about mainly, have you heard when you're gonna open? Not like, can you take me, none of that. because they're afraid themselves, and I'm sure they're gonna look at you much more in a different level than used to.
Yeah.
If hairdressers were here before, they're gonna be here now, because nobody wants to color their hair at home. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to, walk around with gray hair or dark hair. So they want to experience, and it's about experience. Going to a salon, it's a
Yeah.
luxury experience basically, and they want to feel that. So even client, they miss it so much themselves. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be good, A lot
Yeah.
of positive. It's like every day it's gonna be like a holiday season coming in.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah, I could totally see that because everybody is just waiting, and I think they're going to be really excited. And it comes back to the human in people, like you said. It's not about, oh, can you just squeeze me in? It's more, how are you? How's your family? And all that. And it's
Exactly.
changing the conversation. So I agree. I think that it will be different when we go back, as far as the conversation even will be better, and it'll be different.
Even the quality of the service, it's gonna change. Why I'm saying this? Because hairdressers who misses their work so much and their experience will do certain amount of service, and hairdresser who's been doing every single day so much, who's bored of it and tired of doing same thing, will service differently. You get
Yes.
what I'm saying? Like, now I'm sure I used to cut a bob perfect. Now I'm going to cut it even much better, because I'm going to take my extra 10 minutes of time. I was doing perfect balayage. I'm going to do even much better than that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things will add in a positive way to clients, and I'm sure clients will see that. They will appreciate even much more.
Yeah. I just did a podcast with Robert Cromings a few weeks ago, and he
I
brought
love
to,
them.
yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, what an amazing guy and such a leader. But he brought to my attention that this is a really an opportunity for some hairdressers who have just been in it to drop out if they want. Some of us who want to stay in it and they love it and they want to push forward, they're going to do exactly what you're saying. They're going to elevate themselves. They're going to take more time with their clients. But for other hairstylists, maybe this just isn't what they want to do anymore. And here's your opportunity to shift gears, and change careers. So
shift gear, change career. Like, right now, I've never done online education. I've never done it. And I strongly had a mind of believing that I want to teach as much as possible hands-on education to hairdressers. But the world is so big, and not everybody can reach everybody. Other day, I did a Instagram live, and it was fully educational. I was aiming to do 45 minutes, ended up being 2 hours straight,
wow.
and had almost 1,000 followers, like viewers on it.
Wow.
And people miss so much of education. Because of that, it changed my mind so much that another business came into my brand, meaning I'm leaning towards online education also, meaning I want to touch to a person in Milan. I want to touch a person in Egypt. I want to touch a person in California who can't afford to come to my class.
Right.
So this way they can kind of hear, because I'm all about detail. I'm all about like explaining fully. And I'm sure hairdresser, when you tell them everything in detail, explain it clearly, they appreciate so much, and they know exactly that you're giving everything 100% or not.
Yeah.
I'm like more leaning towards to that. So I'm kind of sharing much more of my knowledge online so I can touch many more hairdressers as well.
And I'm sure there's so many hairdressers that are so thankful for that, because so many people want to get into your classes and learn what you do. I mean, what you do is so amazing and outstanding. It stands out for sure. Like there's nobody who does it like you. So I'm sure there's tons of people in the world that would absolutely love to be in your classes and online classes and see all your lives and all that. So that would be great.
Especially money is the goal today. It's expensive. I understand, especially like one person to come to go to any class like today. They have to pay for the flight, they have to pay hotel because a lot of people that come in, one person comes in from Canada, one person comes in from Florida. I had people come in from Michigan. I had people come in from California, like all over the basically whole United States and Canada. I had so many people on my last class. But then now I think about it, when people make money, it's easy to spend here and there. Right now, these times are gonna be like much more of a tough times. So
Yeah.
people are holding on to it much more and are spending more wisely, which everybody should, I think, at this level.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see a lot of stuff or prices are going like down and people are doing much more like sales and to help them. I'm doing it myself also to help hairdressers maybe can afford a little better for them.
Yeah.
But we need to somehow still make everybody happy, still not lose the connection with hairdressers. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking this way, it's going to be another way of me connecting with my followers.
Yeah. I can hear just talking to you and having this conversation with you, and I'm sure all of our listeners can hear how thorough you are. You explain things in great detail. You put a lot of thought into them, and that's very clear on this podcast. So I think that I can totally tell that that's who you are in great detail.
I
Yes.
can't sleep.
Yeah.
Believe me, I have this problem. God forbid, if I forget something, oh my God, I can't sleep. If someone comes into my class and not be able to do certain techniques, let me tell you, I go tell them quietly in their ear, I'm like, you're not leaving this room until you're doing this. You better
Oh,
show me
wow.
or you're not going anywhere. They like put a smile on their face. I like shake them
Yes.
a little. We get close and
Yeah.
I really wanna touch each hairdresser and make them feel they're getting very knowledgeable education
Yeah.
and they feel good about taking this education and they want to take more from this. So
Yeah.
the only way to win another person's heart is by true honesty. Give them full what you know. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I want to do your classes now that I know that you're in New York. We're so close. I'm definitely coming for sure.
Yeah,
Whenever
anytime,
you start up again, put me on the
anytime.
list. So my last question for you is, what do you do to bring peace or calmness into your life?
This is a beautiful question. Sometimes I will sit by the window. I'll open the window. I'll just, even if I'm looking at my phone, I will just take the wind and smell it and just look around. One word I can say, be grateful.
Hmm.
Um, Anytime something happens, good or bad, I say I'm so grateful for it. Thank God for it. I believe in God and I'm very grateful for everything. And more I believe, more I'm grateful, more I take life so much more on the positive and easy side. And I feel like more I'm getting from it back. So it's just, do I go far away from people? Yes, I do. Does that make me feel good? Yes, for a couple of days. But what makes me feel it's going is just keeping calm, staying calm, and just enjoying the moment and thinking what you have now and what you couldn't have or didn't have, wouldn't have, those things. You need to, and where you are, what you're doing. I have two hands, 2 feet, everything. Thank God I have a job that I go to. I have a life that I can move on. I'm not in, I've been worse places. So I know I'm so grateful for everything right now in my life. Especially I feel like this is like a second chance for me.
Yeah.
I see it that way. So that's why I'm like even grateful much more.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, just be grateful. That's it. Be grateful for what you have and be very appreciative, and everything will turn out positive. Doesn't matter how negative it is.
Yeah, that's great. That's such great advice. I have never almost cried on a podcast, and so you almost got me there this time. So you did that. But you are ridiculously humble. You're super chill. You're very cool. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. I realize that time is so valuable. So thank you for taking this time with us today.
Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you. Appreciate it.